All right, my name is Chris. Here we'll be walking you through the Clover system real quick, just a real kind of down to the details demos covering a few things in the system here. Um, what we're looking at, this screen that has all the apps on it is going to be my emulator. It's just replicating what you would see on an actual Clover POS device. So we have all these different apps here, kind of laid out just like you would see on like an iPad or iPhone, different apps we can do different things in. I'll just cover these three at the top here, the registers, order, and inventory, because these would be the ones that you'll probably spend 99% of your time in. So jumping into it, first thing I'll touch on is this inventory app. Um, Inventory is going to hold all of our items, and how it's done is that we have categories, and then we're gonna put specific items within each category just to help keep it organized. So what I'll do here, I'm on the category section. I'm going to make a new category real quick by clicking this green button at the bottom right. We'll call it wood, for example, just to make something generic. Um, Now we're in the wood category. I could set up my different types of wood I might be selling. So same process, hit the green button to add an item in. We'll do one here called birchwood. Um, we'll say maybe birchwood by the foot. And we could put in the price of what we want to sell it by the foot. So say we're going to charge $2 a foot for it. I could put that in. You can also track other things like item costs, stock quantities if you want to do that. But that'll just be the main necessities: item name and the price of the item. We'll hit save there. And now we got that item in the wood category. Another thing we can do as well is I'll add another item in. We'll call it pine wood, pine by the foot. And instead of this being a fixed price, you also have the option if you want to jump up to a little bit more expensive software plan option. It can give you the option to do a per unit pricing. So per unit is just as you might think. You put in the per unit pricing. Say it's 150 per unit here. I'll make it $2 just to keep everything even. And then we could put in the unit measurement. So the unit could be anything you want it to be. It could be a weight like a pound, ounce, or it could be a length. So, we'll say this is by the foot. We're charging $2 for each foot of pine that we're selling. So now we got those two items in there. We got the wood, we got the birch by the foot, and the pine by the foot in the wood category. Um, that basically covers how to import your items. And something I want to say too is that you can upload the items on the device itself. You also will have access to the Clover dashboard, which is just the website of things. So if you want to do a bulk upload, maybe put it in 50, 100 items at once, you could do it from there. That's a little bit easier of an option if you had a good bit of items you want to upload. But now we'll jump into the register app. So let me delete this order real quick. In the register app, it's laid out real simple. Here on the left, we have your current order. In the middle, you have your individual categories. And then within each category, you're going to have your specific types of your specific items for that category. So what I went through here real quick, we got the pine by the foot. This is if we were doing the per unit pricing. I could click on the type of wood it is, and I could put in the quantity, aka how many feet they're getting. So say they're getting 20 feet, it'll come out to $40. We add that in there. We see here on the left now, we got their total put in. If you didn't want to jump up to the higher software plan, you want to keep it a little bit cheaper, you could still do per unit pricing. It'll just be a little different way we do it, and I'll show you right here. So we'll do birch by the foot, and then all I have to do is just adjust the quantity for it. So if it's $2, they're getting 20 feet. Again, we hit that, we'll get the same results. So again, it's going to be the same method. It'll just be a different route we're going to take to get to the same destination. Um, while we're on this, a few things I want to touch on as well is that you do have a search button at the top right. So say you got 100 items in here and you can't find the specific piece of wood, I can just start to type things in like BIR. It's going to bring up birch. I could click on it and it'll add it into the category as well. Besides that, a few other things you can do is you can add customers to the order. So if you have any like commercial clients you might want to do house accounts with, or if you just want to track like who's purchasing what, you can add customers in your system and quickly add them to each order that is being processed in here. Um, Now, when it comes to checking out, all we have to do is hit pay. From here, it takes us to this screen where we can select their tender type. So if they're doing a cash payment, I can enter that in. If they're doing check, we can track that as well. And if this was an actual device, they could just insert their card, it'll process the payment, and it's completed for us. But since we're on our emulator here, I'll just run this as like a cash payment. So I'll say they gave me 90 bucks. We hit pay cash, shows the change we got to give them. And then for the receipt, we got a few options. So we can text or email them the receipt if they want a digital copy. And of course, we're always going to have the option to do that physical receipt as well. But I'll hit done. Now that order's complete and we're good to go. That covers the Register app. Last thing I'll touch on is going to be the Orders app. So this will just show us every order that we've processed through the system. And this is just really handy if anybody needs to do a refund or return a few items. For example, I'll pull up that order we just did a few seconds ago here at the top. We'll click on it. It'll show us everything that was in the order, the customer that was tied to it, how they paid for it, all of that. Um, and then we can do an exchange or refund. You can exchange items. So say, hey, I got 20 feet of birch, but I really wanted 20 feet of oak. You can swap that out if you need to, or you can just refund specific items. So say, for example, they got all this birch by the foot. If they really only needed, they got 20 feet, but they only needed 15, we can refund 5 of that feet. They'll get the money back. It'll add that back into our inventory, but everything will still, keep track on our side as well. But that's just how you do refunds there. Super straightforward. And then finally, we do have the reporting side as well. This will give us kind of a rough breakdown of like our gross sales, net sales. We have the refund put in there, tender type. So what's our cash totals? If we did card payments, it'll show us that as well. And this can all be accessed from the device. But something else you'll have access to is going to be the Clover dashboard. So you can access this from your phone, tablet, computer, whatever it might be. I'll log in real quickly to my dashboard here just to give you a little glimpse of what's all included here. So give it 1 second while it loads. Our internet's kind of slow today, so excuse the lag time here. So here's it's loading. Again, you can access this from anywhere, and you can also set up employees in the system. So if you had maybe a bookkeeper that might need access to your financials, instead of having to manually mail everything over to her or email it to her, you can just set her up as like a bookkeeping employee in the system so that, the bookkeeper can come in, pull all your reports in a few seconds and, crunch all your numbers for you. But here we're looking at the homepage. This gives us like a quick snapshot of like our net sales, and we can change the date range from today, this week, this month, anything like that. And then on the left, we have a few different areas. So reporting's great. It'll just give us detailed reporting on like our sales, item sales, finances. Will break down like our sales tax we need to report to the government, kind of overview of all the sales we have. And then employees too. This is where we can set up our employees. So like I said, you can set up the bookkeeper employer if you want to. And then anybody else that might be needing to use the system, they can have their own 4 to 6 digit login code. This is great because you'll be able to track who's logged in, who did what payment, who issued what refund, and you can even set controls as well. So if maybe you want somebody to be able to take a payment, but they're not authorized to process a refund, you can absolutely customize that. But that was a quick run through of the Clover system. As always, if you have any questions, want to see more details, feel free to shoot me a call or give me a text anytime. Thank you.